Hi, my name is James Shepard, and in this video, I'm going to help you to understand upfront bonuses. So we're going to talk about understanding upfront bonuses and, in the merchant services industry specifically, how do you know what your upfront bonus is going to be? Now, before we dive into this video, we've been walking through a calculator, and so there's certain assumptions that we're filling in. So let me just real quickly bring you up to speed. So right now, go on your phone or your computer or whatever, go to instantquotetool.com. Don't worry, you don't have to sign in or sign up or anything. It's just right there. It's free. Go to instantquotetool.com and click on goals up at the top, goals. And that will really help you. If you go to goals, there's a calculator there that I made. It's really, really easy to use, and it's going to help you to see what your income is going to be in the merchant services industry based on the assumptions. And then in this mini series, I'm covering each of those assumptions. So where we're at right now, we filled in the sales per month for year one with the number 12. Then we filled in the sales per month year 2 with 7. We filled in the sales per month year 3 with 5. And that's based on you being an average merchant services sales rep that's walking into 20 businesses a day where you haven't spoken to a decision maker. You've gone through some training at instantquotetool.com and you know how to close some deals. You're a decent salesperson. So that's what those assumptions are based on. If you have questions about those assumptions, go back and watch the first two videos. We're going to jump down now to the average upfront bonus. Now, you'll see in the calculator right now it's at 150. And so I put that in there, but I want to talk a little bit about the upfront bonus. How is it calculated? What should you use as an assumption here? Now, one of the big things you have to figure out, the biggest thing that's going to impact this particular assumption is, are you selling the terminal or are you giving the terminal away for free? So let me explain the difference real quick, and I have tons of videos to talk about this, but in our industry, there's basically two different kind of camps. The first camp is the free terminal camp. So their goal basically is, I want to get as many sales as possible by giving these terminals away for free. Now, in the past, I've been a big proponent of it. I'm still a big proponent of having that option available to you. However, I don't think it's having as big an impact as it used to have. For one thing, merchants are kind of realizing that they're still actually paying for the terminal in terms of they have to have, minimum pricing guidelines set, so their pricing is usually higher. There's all kinds of requirements to get it. They're still paying maybe $15 a month for a, paper fee or whatever. Like, it's not really a free terminal, and they've had probably the experience, like one of my merchants locally, I actually ended up paying because they canceled their service, and one of the terminals that I had sold them, like, I don't know, 7 years ago, I gave them a free terminal, quote unquote free terminal, which they've been paying $10 a month on or $12 a month on forever for like 7 years. Then all of a sudden they canceled and they didn't have the terminal because they had switched to another company. And so when they canceled, they got charged $795 for this VX520 that was 7 years old. It was a free terminal. So anyway, all that to say, those programs are not, I think you should have them in your bag. They should be tools you have available, but they're not as effective as they used to be. Then you have the terminal lease. This is where you're leasing a terminal to the merchant and you're saying, hey, this terminal is, we're never going to take it back. You can use it with any processor you want, and we're going to sell you the terminal. A lot of times you're using maybe a nicer terminal, maybe a Deja Vu Z11 or something like that, touchscreen, and you're leasing them a terminal. Maybe it's a point terminal, something like that. So you're leasing them a terminal and then you're getting a bigger upfront bonus. So that's a big variant, because if you're going to do the leases, you're probably going to make an average of about $700 up front. That's assuming you're doing reasonable, $39 a month, 48-month leases, something like that. You're going to make around $700 up front when you do a lease, versus if you do a free terminal, you're probably going to make an average of around $150 to $200 up front. Again, a lot of this depending on the processor you're with, okay? But assuming you're with one of the big processors, you're going to make somewhere around there. Now, here's a really important thing to understand, though. I don't think that you should always try to make as much as you can on the upfront bonus, because many times the processor is going to provide you with resources, leads, training, coaching, whatever it is, structure, people to do the installs for you. There are a lot of other variables. So don't just look at the upfront bonus and say, well, this company pays $300 upfront, this one pays $200. Well, yeah, but as I've talked about in the last few videos, how many sales are you going to be able to make? How many sales are you going to make after that first 100? Are they going to support the merchant? A lot of these companies have reduced their cost by reducing their level of support to the agent and the merchant. The downside is they now don't have enough money to pay out a lot of upfront bonuses, or they have more money to pay upfront bonuses, but the downside is you're losing on customer service. Other companies provide you with leads, coaching, really good support. They are spending their money there on that structure, so they may not have quite as much to pay in upfront bonuses. So take all of that into consideration. So here's what I would say we want to do with this box. let's assume that you're doing cash discounting and point terminal, and that's half of your deal. So half of your deal is you're leasing a terminal. So again, that's point terminal, and that's the cash discounting, just hypothetically, right? The other half of your deal is you're doing a free terminal and you're getting a couple $100 upfront bonus, all right? So if that's the case, what I would do is I would put this one at about $450. So I'm going to put average upfront bonus. I'm going to change it from $150 to $450 for this mini series. Now, if you know, no, James, I'm never going to lease a terminal. I'm doing free terminals all the time. Okay, that's fine, but you need to understand how that impacts your income, right? So change it to $200. So if you're going to do all free terminals, $200. If you're going to do 90% leases, you probably want to do it at $700, $800. If you're going to do half and half, do it at $450. So I'm going to put it at $450 for this mini series, and we're going to continue on in the next video.